Hello, beautiful people. So, I am in my cozy clothes. We have our hot coffee, and therefore, you know what time it is. We are going to read some weird Reddit stories, and today we're looking at some petty revenge. So, our first one is You Don't Want to Fix It? Okay, I will. So, this one's a little bit long. In 2022, I graduated college, moved into my very first apartment, and everything was great for the first few months. Cheap rent, good neighbors. And that all changed in the drop of a dime in one night. Oh my. I came home to a German cockroach in my sink. Ew. Ew. Okay. I'm extremely afraid of bugs, especially the fast moving ones. Immediately, I began looking through the entire apartment while sobbing. Oh, honey. For more, and oh my god, did I find more. The place was totally, thoroughly infested. Ew. With roaches? Ew, not the roaches. Don't nobody want the roaches. It's just so yucky. The yucky things. It's just you're a nasty little thing, and I touched you. Just no. Oh. Okay. Anyway. I called my landlord to notify her and how we can get this fixed as fast as possible, and she was just as shocked as I was and said that she would have never expected this to happen at her complex. Keep this in mind, this is important later. Okay, I guess this shall be important later. I stayed home that day to let pest control into my unit for spraying. When they arrived, I asked a boatload of questions for some peace of mind. I received the opposite. Oh no. They notified me that my landlord specifically requested that they only spray my unit and not the other surrounding 19. Okay. So I am not a pest control specialist at all. As a matter of fact, I deal with gardening and lawn care, and I put rubber bands on lobster claws. Um, but even I know that that's a big no-no. Okay. So, oof. Oh no. The pest company knew this was wrong, of course. Even I know that's wrong. I don't work for a pest control company, and I know that that's wrong. But anyway. Ugh, god dang it. And they told me that they made an effort to convince my landlord to spray the entire building, and she still said no thanks. It was an extremely lazy solution. Well, yeah, slumlords do utilize lazy solutions. I know this. I used to rent from one. Um, yeah. Yeah, it was an extremely lazy solution on her part, and she thought that she could get it off easy, being cheap and only getting one of her 20 units sprayed, like slapping a band-aid on a bullet hole. Ugh. In the following weeks, yep, you guessed it, the infestation grew much worse, and it had gotten to a point where every aspect of my life was being affected by the roaches. I couldn't eat, sleep, or just simply relax in my own space. So I texted my neighbor across the hall and, hey, by any chance, are you struggling with a roach problem too? He responded with, yep, I am. I said, well, how long have you been dealing with a roach problem? Because I have one really, really bad over here. And he said, well, since 2019 when I moved in. Oh, okay, nice. So the landlord knew damn well about this infestation and had let it grow for years. Cue the petty revenge. Oh my. I called and reported her to the Department of Health, who gleefully told me that yes, she is an extreme violation of many codes, and they were shocked at how poorly she handled the situation. And within the week, they were in contact with her and served her a handful of fines for neglect of tenants and gave her a notice with a deadline to fumigate the entire building by the following day. Ah, noise. I love it. I love it. Yes. And at the following day, the pest company was back and spraying the whole building. And here's the kicker. I love this. By the following week, my lease ended and I moved out. I slapped her with some fat ass fines, then hit the road, and I'll never forget her. And I know she'll sure as Scheisehofen never forget me. For good reason. Good riddance. Okay. So, as somebody who has actually dealt with somebody as a landlord who was my landlord, who was extremely lazy and not wanting to fix any type of situation that arose, especially any kind of repairs or anything, I definitely understand the lengths that this person went to right before their lease was gone just to fuck with them. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Ooh. Now, I have one for all of our lovely gamer friends who, I'm not even sure. I don't know if anybody's going to really appreciate this one on a good level or if they're actually going to call this guy an asshole. I kind of see the, literally just from reading the title, it's like dudes calling this guy a geek. It just doesn't seem. It's gamer geek jealousy reads to epic brutal revenge. Now, if you are a gamer yourself and you are calling a fellow gamer a geek, you're most likely just a bad person. Therefore, I'm kind of on the other guy's side right now, but we're gonna read through this and find out what's actually going on here. Just based on the title, I'm on the other dude's side. It's mean to call people geeks. Names hurt. It's not nice. Anyway. So, I used to be in a gaming group, traditional books, dice, and miniatures, with a guy we'll call Stench. That's mean. Because no matter how many showers he took, he stunk. Anyway, Stench was a serious geek. That's really not nice. And he was Catholic, and that made his gaming way problematic for him. He was in his 20s, a virgin, and living with his parents, completely under their control. He also had several small circles of friends and 99% online, which were absolutely never allowed to intersect. Well, some people don't really like their friends, their separate groups of friends getting together. Sometimes they just don't think that they'll get along, and that's okay. But I don't know. That just seems weird to me, but whatever. I stopped by one day to borrow a book, and he was on the phone with a girl from one of those other groups. She heard me, liked my voice, and browbeat him into giving me the phone. That seems... This girl sounds kind of creepy herself. Who's... Yeah, okay. We hit it off. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. So you're calling your friend a geek when he's the one who was talking to this chick in the first place, and this creepy chick's just like, oh, yeah, let me talk to your friend, and you're just like, oh, yeah, we'll hit it off. Yeah. That's weird. You would have to be seriously lonely. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. And we were talking frequently, then every night. Doing over-the-phone roleplay, not even close to Mahamul. As things usually happen, she slipped and told Stench that what we'd been doing, and he lost his absolute shoot. Oh yeah. But why? Okay then. She informed me that he had contacted our weekly game master and then best friend, who approved that anything Stench did was canon, official in our weekly game. This meant that any retribution I choose to inflict was also canon. In game, and he did this knowing full well what a vindictive and very imaginative, complete SOAB, we'll call it a SOAB, that I am. Oh, brothers. Our dungeon master was a malicious fudger. Stench had cursed the character while I was using one, and I'd been using one for a long time, who I'd put a lot of work into, and with some utterly disgusting, horrific diseases that were utterly incurable. Oh, wonderful. So I contacted a very old friend and hired his character that he'd been running since the late 70s. This was about around 1997-ish, to do a hit job. Okay. See, Stench would only play a special race of lawful, good-winged elves called Avariels, and in our campaign universe, he had protected them by having them develop on their own world, which was then deposited into a pocket dimension which only Avariels could access. The plan played out thusly. My hired elven wizard has a spelljammer ship. He uses a time travel spell to go back to the dawn of time of the Avariel race, before they crawled out of the muck, before their planet was in its pocket dimension. He takes the ship in very close to the system's primary, in other words, their sun, and cast a compound spell in large haste, age to destruction, aka supernova. Beautiful. I see where this is going. Oh, on the star. And then the time travel reversed back to when he'd left, and then I called up the lady and told her what I'd done, with a message to pass along to Stench. I wiped out the Avariels so completely, not even their gods are around to mourn their passing. He called me up the next day, screaming, crying, saying that he was going to come to my house and kick the door down, burn it down. I reminded him that he's seen me shoot, I'm ex-army infantry, and that I thought Catholics frowned upon suicide. I then hung up. I called up our dungeon master and told him what I'd done. He wasn't even impressed with my brutality and verified that it was canon. It was. This deleted not only Stench's characters, but every action he'd ever committed. Let's just say several favorite characters who died due to Stench's blunders came back, among other effects. He was also forbidden to use that race ever again, as they were wiped from existence and only my character remembered them. And there was no way I was going to wish them back into existence. Stench rage quit the group and never spoke to any of us ever again. Unfortunately, his buddy in another state, who was supposed to be reloading my rifle ammo, instead sold my brass, so as revenge for that, I took some gay porn VHS tapes from my mom's then boyfriend, had salvaged from his job as maintenance and apartment complex, boxed them up with a bow, drove down to where Stench's buddy lived, and mailed the box to Stench, CO, his hyper-Catholic parents, with a note that said we had a little tiff and broke up, so I thought Stench would want these back. Yes, I am an asshole. Okay, buddy. You might be an asshole, but that's kind of beautiful. I don't understand why people get jealous about people talking to their friends or like their friend groups intermingling. I mean, I would get it if you thought that your friends weren't going to like each other, so you just didn't want them hanging out. But if you don't want them hanging out just because you don't want them around each other, because you feel like you're going to get jealous because they're going to like each other better. Oh, honey. You need some help, and bless your heart. Well, that was wonderful. I don't really... Okay. I'll never understand why people get jealous about their friends talking to other people. It just... They're your friends. Shouldn't you be happy that they're making other friends? They're not going to be alone all the time when you're busy. They're not going to, like... Broaden your friend group. Figure out other things that you like. Find new interests. Do your thing. Be the wonderful, beautiful, amazing person that you are meant to be, and just do all of the things that you want to do and fill your life with beauty. You are all wonderful and amazing. I am the real Cass Perry, and you have an awesome day. Bye-bye.